Welcome back, everyone, to the Quarter Century Soldier. We're on episode 25. We are in 2023. If you haven't seen the previous episodes that got us to this point, please go check them out. They're in a playlist here on YouTube. So we're in 2023. So I am currently in Honduras. I'm loving it, by the way. So what I said about 2023 was I'm not going back home all year. If anyone wants to come visit me in Honduras, they're more than welcome to, right? But I wasn't going to go back to the United States at this point. So I'm there the entire year. Once I get back, like I told everyone, once I get back in 22, I underwent the diabetes, ketoacidosis scare. And so now 2023, I'm moving into 2023. I was kind of wilding a little bit with my health in 2023. I can admit that now. I got everything on track. But 2023, I was off my meds. I was just, I don't know what I was thinking, but 2023, I didn't take any of the meds I was supposed to be taking. And it didn't affect me health-wise right then and there. Hopefully there's no long-term effects from that. But yeah, that was me health-wise, and 2023 was not great. Other than that, 2023 was a good year. It was some bullshit that happened at the end, but let's get into that. So like I said, when I got to the office, it was just me. It was supposed to be 3 of us, but it's just me. So I'm doing everything. But because I'm a person that's used to an influx of information and being able to process that information, I'm cool, right? I'm learning as I go. So in 2023, I get help in January. This guy comes in and he's supposed to be, when he went through school, he was being told, hey, I'm the senior person there. I'm going to be in charge of everything. Nothing's changing. I'm still the chief of staff. I'm still the right hand to the senior defense official, right? So I was talking to the guy. We talked over video chat and everything. Everything was cool, I thought. So when he gets there, I think he had a little bit of a Napoleon complex. I'm not going to lie. I think he did. Because when he got there, he did little things to like undercut me, right? So I had already talked. Again, I've been with my boss for about 8 months now. So we're cool. We're jiving. He's already telling me, hey, when this new cat comes in, I ain't really fucking with him like that because I don't know him. We got our rhythm together. I fuck with you, you fuck with me. We're good. Let's just keep it like that. I'm like, all right, bet. Like, granted though, I'm supposed to be retiring in 2024. We already know that. So the plan was to train this guy until June, July timeframe, then let him take over. That's what we talked about. Me and my fucking boss talked about this, right? So when the guy gets there, I'm just like, hey man, I know they told you that, I'm the senior person there, so we're not changing positions or anything. We're just going to stay the way things are. Again, I'm not a person, I don't give a fuck about title. I've never cared about that. I don't care if you're director, if you're assistant, just do your damn job. Just do the job you're supposed to be doing at the end of the day, right? If you do a good job, the titles will come, right? You don't need to be like, oh, I'm the director of, and then try to flex power. Like, nobody cares. Like, you don't know your job. So it doesn't matter if you're the president of the United States. If you don't know your job, you're going to get clowned. So I was telling him that, like, hey, they're not going to change the positions around. But again, we're teammates. I'm not trying to boss you around and tell you what to do. We're not here for that. I'm trying to we come together as a collective. You cover my back, I cover your back. Hey man, this job is amazing. Like, let's not make this shit a competition. One, because you can't fuck with me. You can't, because you're coming in second. So I already know what's going on. So he was like in my face, all they smiling in your face all the time. They want to take your place, backstab us, right? So he's like, okay. So I'm like, all right, bet. So then apparently him and my boss go out to dinner, you know, separately. And then he's like, oh, well, you know, he's telling me that he wants me, you know, to take over pretty soon. And I'm like, huh? He said that? Like, when did he say that? Oh, you know, we went out to eat. So I was like, oh, okay. All right. Here we go. Here we go. That's some bullshit, but okay. I didn't like that. Why? I think because one thing that my boss, me and him never, how can I put this? We never went out. It was a professional relationship. Put it that way. I'm a person, this is how I carry it. I don't care, especially in the Army, especially. I don't care how much someone likes you and how much someone, especially when you're talking about someone like my boss directly. I don't care how much you like me, how much you invite me out, how much you try to be buddy. I'm going to keep a line there. Why? Because that person who's in charge owns the relationship. What do I mean by that? We can be buddy. I can, you can call me Felix. I can call you fucking Richard all day long, right? We're not supposed to do that. But if he's trying to make me feel comfortable, and so I can do that. But the minute he gets upset and he gets back into that, well, I'm now your boss role, you have to respect me, we're not going to go back and forth. I don't do the once you're upset, you try to use rank or you try to use your position. But just yesterday, we were drinking and smoking cigars at your house, talking about fucking doing crazy shit together. I don't do that, right? I don't do that. Now, if we are friends, we are peers, because I had, my best friend was a peer and he got promoted, right? I understand that because we have a relationship from when we were peers and one of your homies gets promoted. Okay, cool. Now this person has more of a responsibility. And so I'm not going to assume we're still cool. I know you have a job to do. It's different versus someone I just met and you're already senior to me. So he was always inviting me out and stuff like that. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good on that. I'm going to keep the boundary because I'm not perfect. And there's going to come a time where you're upset at something that I do. I don't know you enough to see how you're going to react. Right. And what I never wanted to do is I never wanted someone to be in a position where I think someone is cool and then they flip it, right? They flip out and all of a sudden they want to, we call it pulling rank. I guess it's like pulling position for civilians, right? Cause I had that happen to me. We were coordinating the visit for the Army Chief of Staff to come, right? The top guy in the Army. He's the commander of the entire Army. He sits in the cabinet with the president, right? So he was coming. We were planning the logistics, cars, pickup, hotel stay. Okay, at 7, we got 7 cars. It's going to pick everyone up. They're going to convoy to this hotel, this restaurant. So I was in charge of logistics. I had this dude I was working with. He was a major. Okay. So again, I wasn't buddy because I don't fuck with y'all like that. I don't. It's all business. 100%. So he was describing something to me and I was just like, no, I don't think that's going to work. And I was like, I don't think that's going to work. Like, to be honest with you, I just don't see it. Right. So I was chuckling. I wasn't like, nah, that shit ass. That shit ain't going to work. I never said that. Right. So I'm chuckling. So he was like, no, I'm being serious, right? Because, at the end of the day, you're enlisted and I'm officer. Oh, word? Okay, like I don't even rock with you like that, but the fact that you went there and I wasn't telling them off. I wasn't saying, all I said was, I don't know. Like, I don't know about this one because it didn't, I don't think it'll work like this. So he got pissed. And the first thing out of his mouth was, I got more rank than you. Don't worry about that, because it'll never happen again. So I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever you want to do. So basically when it happens like that, all you're going to get is the bare minimum from me. Because when it was a little bit more personality, as soon, and this is how I know that these dudes is not cut from the same cloth, because as soon as you guys run into some sort of adversity, rather than talk man to man, you want to jump to, oh, my position is higher than yours, so you got to do with it. That's how I know. That's why I got the on-site list. That's why I have it, because people like that existed, and he was one of them. He was also a civilian there. He wasn't active duty. He was fucking part-time. He was National Guard or some shit. So he did it 1 week in a month. Bro, I do this fucking every day. I live this life. You get suited up once a week, one weekend a month, and now you want to jump in and be like, oh, I outrank you. Do you? But I'm not even gonna get into that. I'm not even gonna argue with you, because you're one of those people. And those people are the type that want to pull the disrespect card whenever you don't just shut up and color. First of all, I'm not a shut up and color person. So if you're working with me, I have a brain and I'm going to use it. If you don't want me to use it, you need to find someone else. So that's why I always kept that barrier. And I didn't even violate that barrier. Like, me and him weren't going out, but still he chose to do that. And so that was just an example of why. So my boss goes out with this new dude. He says that. So now this is where the off duty or the personal me and the professional me cross paths. Because for the personal me, that was some weak shit. Like, that, y'all weak as fuck for doing some shit like that. For real. Because I don't give a fuck about this position, man. I'm leaving next year. Like, I'm retiring. So actually, I'm just training you up so you can take over anyway. I don't care if you're here for fucking 16 years. I'm out of here next year. So we didn't really get off on a really good foot, because, and this is where the military is changing. And it's one of the reasons why I started to get out. We have something called NCO business. When you're enlisted, NCOs, especially senior NCOs, we handle all shit internally. We don't want some snot-nosed lieutenant who just got out of, the academy. We've been doing this for 15, 16 years, and this person's been in 1 year. Because I don't account when you're at West Point and you're a freshman. You technically aren't active duty yet. It's not until you graduate, and then you get lieutenant, and you get to move and take over a platoon and stuff like that. So when these lieutenants come, they take over platoons of 30 of us. We're what they call a platoon sergeant. We're already there. And technically he or she is over me, but they don't have the relationship that I have with the soldiers, because, I've been working with them day in and day out. So NCO, we call it NCO business. If I got a problem with you as another NCO, as another enlisted person, we hash that out. They don't have to know shit about that. But see, he wasn't like that. He is a yes man. He was a yes man to the fucking 100th degree. And it is so hard to compete with yes men. When a person is just like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. The minute you're a person is just like, hey, I don't think that that's possible. I'm not saying we can't do it, but we have to talk some more things out in order to get to where we want to be. Not just yeah. Because the people that say yeah, after the leadership leaves, after the director leaves, he's like, yo, how do we do this? Nah, motherfucker, you just said yeah. What happened to that same energy you already had? When he was here, you could make the planet spin the other way. Now all of a sudden that he's gone, how do we do this? How do we? So you're fake, bro. You're fake. So what happens when you have a person like that? I look at myself, I'm not a hindrance to success. I'm a realist with success. And they're always like, don't say no. It's just, how do we get to yes? And I'm always for talking that out. My job as his chief of staff is to let him know, one, this is illegal. You can't do that. I'm not about to go to jail for you in Honduras because you want to violate some fucking policy. That's one. Two, let's not get relieved of duty because you're doing something illegal. And three, that's a little gray. I operate in the gray. And so though I can still get it done, it's my job to let you know, like, hey, that is in the gray. So it's not a given that those things can happen. It's just a conversation. It's not just, yeah, I got it. I'll make it happen. What? Bro, we can't do that. Like, you can't do that. And then especially if you're going to hide your hand when he leaves and say, oh, well, how do we do this? We? What do you mean we? You said you got it. So get it. Like, that's how that goes. So naturally, I'm looking like the bad guy because I'm not, yeah. Yeah. And so, 2023 was a little tumultuous as far as the office politics goes. But again, I'm on my way out. So I'm not even arguing with that because, again, I don't care about none of this, right? This is furthering my thought that you guys have these egos because of the rank on your chest, because you wear a uniform. Outside of that, you're shit. You're complete shit. And so that is when my personal meets my professional, right? Some things I just can't take. I don't know. That's just the way that I'm cut. So me and this guy never really got along. We kind of just made it happen. And then my boss started, of course, he's going to go with the guy who is, yeah, let's do this. I got it. Yeah, I can. So he became a glorified secretary, scheduling appointments, meetings and stuff like that. All because he wanted to be in his good graces. Like, bro, he don't give a fuck about you. He is using you for what you can do until he doesn't need you anymore. But you don't understand that. You just think, oh, he wants this, he wants that. You can't do that. You're unable to do that. But hey, man, as long as you stand on what you're telling him you can do, you got it. Don't put my name in none of that stuff because I ain't got nothing to do with it. So my image took a little bit of a hit. Not that I care. I was killing it and still continued to kill it. I didn't really care, right? So what happens is once this guy shows up and he becomes the yes man and I can do. All right, man, then you stay here and do all of that because I'm not doing none of that shit. So what happens is now I'm able to go on road trips. Like I said, our job while we were there was we go to different military units and we meet with the leadership and we see what type of equipment they have, if it's in good shape, and if we can get them new equipment and in training. What we like to do is we like to see if, I'm Army, even though I can talk to Navy, I can talk to Air Force. We mainly went to Army units to see if, hey, we can get some people into West Point. Do you have any outstanding, young soldiers, any troops that you think you can push forward and we can get them to go to New York to attend West Point, right? So it's basically us helping their military, their allies. And if shit pop off and we need help from Honduras, we want them to have, good equipment. So that's basically what we did. That was our job. That was my job while I was there. So I was able to travel around the country, which was amazing. It was so much fun, man, because again, the office politics, it was just there are some people who are scared of different things. Like I said, everybody who's working in this job is used to being overseas, right? Because that this is not a job we can do in the United States, obviously. But there are people who are scared to leave the embassy and go to Choluteca, which is a city in Honduras, to go to Amapala, to go to San Lorenzo, because the further you move away from the city of Tegucigalpa, the less English they speak. These commanders don't give a fuck what your rank is. We're in their country, right? So they are the lead. So they're going to speak Spanish just same way if we come to. And so I said this now. I was like, you know what? I was always for, this is a tangent real quick. I was always for when people are in the United States, I'm like, you know what? I know you don't speak the language, so it's okay if you don't. I can work with you speaking Spanish or speaking French or, Chinese, Vietnamese, wherever you come from. Since I've been in Honduras, man, they didn't take it easy on me. They did not take it easy on me. They was like, hey, you live in Honduras, motherfucker, you need to be speaking Spanish. All right, that's a bet. Okay, so when y'all come to the United States, anybody who's a foreigner, I don't have any mercy on you. Nah, you don't speak English? Oh, you need to work it out, bro. You need to work it out because you're here, right? So that's me being petty because they did that to me, not in a bad way, but some people did. Some people didn't give a fuck. They was like, hey, you American? Hey, man, like, you know where you at? You know where you at? And I was like, you know what? You're completely right. So I'll figure it out. So yeah, people, but there are people who are there who are American, whose Spanish is non-existent, and they don't want to learn. That's the problem. They don't want to learn. There's nothing wrong with not being able to speak a second language. But when you don't want to and you live on their economy, now you look like an asshole, right? And so we had a lot of those people there. So they had no problem staying in the embassy because, again, the embassy is U.S. soil. You're supposed to be speaking English there, even though there's a lot of Spanish spoken there too. But it's different because when you go in the economy, they don't care. And even if they speak English, there was a lot of people who spoke English. They just didn't want to because they don't want to make mistakes and they don't want to be judged. But that was part of going to these other cities. All right. We were moving all across the country, except for East. East is like really mountainous country, and that's where all the narcos are. So once you're in narco country, you get caught out there, man. You might, you got to talk your way out of, because they think everybody's a Fed. And so, they play by different rules in the mountains. So we didn't really go over that way unless it was like a really, really controlled trip. But we didn't spend that much time out there really because there was no military units out there. So what happens is we're traveling from, we went to a CAV unit. We went to a special forces unit. We went to see the Marines. They have a lot of infantry units. And so the pictures that you see that I took from different places, I did travel on my own, but a lot of those is for when we went on those road trips. So we would leave on like a Sunday, come back on like a Thursday or a Friday. And so what happens is we had these meetings set up. So I'm going with the Army attaché, and like I said before, the NCOs in the Honduran Army, they don't get no love. Like people look at them as they are just the bottom of the barrel because they didn't go to school. They probably come from a poor background. And so that they top out. So they don't really see a need for them. They're just like hired hands to help. Right. And so when they see the American Army, how they have me as a senior with an officer, and me and him are having discussions and talking, they see like, okay, maybe we can make use of some of our junior enlisted. So it was a lot of fun, man. We went and, we talked to the commanders. They gave us tours. One of them, if y'all remember one TikTok, I was like in a tank, and that was when we went to the CAV unit. They were like, hey, like we got a tank set up for you guys. And they rolled out the red carpet for us because what it is, we come with money. They see us and they say, and they know, right? It's not a secret. Like, hey, we're coming here to see if we can help you guys. So they were never assholes. Like a lot of those dudes were really, really cool. And it's and it's a brotherhood that extends past borders, right? They're army, we're army. So, I exchange like my patches with them, coins with them, just to give them mementos from the United States. And they love that. And they did the same. So I have like a bunch of military patches from them, a bunch of coins from them. And so it was just a really good exchange of culture. I helped give one of a medical class to one of them. And I also went to go teach at the academy for English. So I taught the cadets English at the academy because that's one of the things they can do. They weren't very good at it because they didn't practice enough, but they were just, I don't know, man. They were just really cool. And they were just really, they rolled out the red carpet for us. Not that they had to, but it was just something that they did. And it was really nice to travel around the country and see it. So we would have maybe like 2 meetings. So let's say we go from like Monday to Thursday. So we leave on Sunday because you get a travel day. So then Monday we got 2 meetings. So we leave on Sunday, boom, we travel. We have one of our drivers who's a local Honduran drive us because he knows the pathways. He speaks Spanish really well. So it was never an issue. And so then we get in, check into the hotel. Monday, we probably got 2 meetings in the morning and in the afternoon. Boom, when we're viewing units and stuff like that. Then we go eat, go to the hotel. And then we'll probably have like one meeting on Tuesday, one on Wednesday. And so once we got done with the meeting, we kind of had the afternoon to ourselves, so we would just go see the towns and go see what were some of the sites in that area, because that's what the units were there for, just like the Army here, to protect that area. You know what I mean? So we got to see a lot of the sites and stuff like that. A lot of the commanders would take us on tours, which was really cool because, again, that's their area. So how their army works is if I'm from an area, I go to basic training. And then once I'm done with basic training, I come back to the area that I'm from. So it's not like here. They don't travel from like base to base. You stay at one base. Now you might leave to go to the city for training. Like they would come to the city for the English class. That was like 6 months. And then once you leave, you go back. So basically you are working in the city you grew up in the area you grew up in. And so that, I don't know how that works for them. I guess it's being close to family, being able to help out family, maybe recruiting, maybe help out with recruiting, because we have the kind of same program here. So it was cool. We went all over. So I got to see everywhere in Honduras. That was really fun. So 23 was really good because I was just all over the place. He was like, "Hey man, we got a trip planned for this month, and I'm like, "Hey man, I'm there. Wherever we're going, I'm there." So that was a lot of fun. It was I've basically been into 95% of the country, and as part of the job. So when people were, it's like, even people from Honduras are just like, "Man, you've been everywhere." I was like, "Yeah, that was my job. Trust me, I'm not spending like money every weekend to go to these places. Some of these places I'm here for like an entire week." And so, yeah, I'll go sightsee a little bit, in between after meetings or something like that, or when someone canceled, something like that. And that's a lot different than going on your own, because it is expensive to hit all these cities like on your own. So what I did was, because I'm retiring in February of 24, this was the original plan. I put in my retirement papers, because you have to put them in at least a year. You couldn't submit them more than a year in advance. So boom, February 2024, I put in my retirement papers. This is where we get into the story about why I retired in 2024 instead of what I was supposed to do. So I'm just like, okay, 24 years, he's 7. It's time for me to get out and I'm cool with it, right? I've done my time. I got the job that I wanted to get because I'm figuring working in Honduras as pretty much an operations director is going to help me pretty much work operations anywhere. If I can work in Honduras, where our home base is in Washington, D.C. on off hours, I can do anything in Dallas and Houston and San Antonio and Austin. That's light work, right? I was doing that in a foreign country with locals. So work doing it here is easy. And like I said, I thought about extending. I thought about changing my job to become permanent, to work that job permanently. But I was like, you know what? No. At that time, I'm ready to start doing content creation. Just, the Army had run its course. You got motherfuckers in here now who will tell on you and tattletale when it's supposed to be like us against them type deal. So I was just over the whole thing. I was like, you know what? It's done. I got the experience. I've seen most of Honduras, so I'm cool. So I dropped my paperwork in February 2023 for 2024. So submitted it. I'm just like, all right, cool. I start to shut it down. Start shutting things down. Hey, you can take over this program. You can do this. You can do this because I'm on my way out, right? I am not a person that overstays my welcome. Once I say I'm done, that's it. Chunk up the deuce. Peace. In January, I get a call. Well, I get an email saying, hey, they just said that you can extend for 2 more years if you want to. So I'm like, that's interesting. Mind you, right? July is in the middle of me now, traveling all over the country. I'm done with these weak ass dudes in the office. So now I'm traveling around. We having a blast doing this job. So I'm like, you know what? I'm making so much money overseas. I don't want to go back to the United States. I literally joined the Army for this. I'm wearing civilian clothes every day. I maybe wear a uniform once every 6 months, right? I love the job, so I can do this. So I was like, you know what? Let's put a pin in that. Let me see. So what I did is I called DC and I said, hey, because they're the ones in charge of, changing where we go. So I said, hey, they just told me I can extend for 2 more years. So I would be ETSing or retiring in 2026. That would be February 2026 would be my retirement date. I was like, but I don't want to go back to the United States. I want to continue overseas. So he tells me, he was like, yeah, we're cool with doing that. Like you're already been through school. You already got the clearance. You know the fucking job. Cool. Like there's no reason why we wouldn't keep you. So I'm like, bet. So I call the specific guy who does our assignments. I'm like, hey man, March will be 2 years. March 2024 will be 2 years of me being here. So I got here in 22. I was like, hey, do you have anything open around that time? What do you have available? So he says, we have Bolivia. This is how Bolivia comes into the play. So he was like, we have Bolivia open around that time. I was like, hey, they just told me that I can extend for 2 years, but I don't want to extend until I get the guarantee or someone says, yes, you can stay in the DAS and we can send you to another base. I don't want to stay in Honduras because I, don't want to be with these dudes anymore. I want to move somewhere new. He's like, cool, we'll sign you up for Bolivia. Okay, cool. Talk to the people in Bolivia. They were like, hey man, it's a really small embassy. It's really chill. So it's a good way to go out, right? You're not running around like a chicken with your head cut off, because Honduras is not a big embassy, but it's a really busy embassy. was like, nah, Bolivia, nah, we chill down here. We good. We Gucci. Bet. Bet. So not only does it gets more chill than what it already is. Bet. So I hit them back and I'm just like, all right, cool. I will extend for 2 more years. So what happens is I tell them I want to extend for 2 more years. I'm supposed to fill out a form that says, that's telling the Army that I want to extend for 2 more years. When this guy sends me the paperwork, he only sends it to me telling the DAS, me telling DC, people I've already talked to, right? So they don't have an issue, but I still got to do the paperwork. He only sends me that one. So I'm like, hey, this paperwork here is only for the DAS. I need the one that tells Big Army that I want to stay for 2 years. Like, you guys sent this to me. You told me that I could extend for 2 years. So you should be able to send me everything I need to extend for 2 years. Okay. These motherfuckers, man. So he was like, no, that's all you need. That's all you need. Bro, I worked in HR. I know this is not all I need, but they stopped responding. Don't respond anymore. So I'm like, okay. I've done my part. Like, y'all ain't picking up the phone. Y'all not responding to my emails. None of that shit. So this is in August. September rolls around. October rolls around. So I'm like, hey, what's up with the extension? So they're like, oh, you can't extend anymore because the memo is no good after 31 September. September starts the new fiscal year. So that's like the new year for the military. They go from October to October. So I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, yeah, you didn't get into paperwork quick enough to extend. So you still got to retire in February. This is 2024. This is February 2024. No, the fuck I don't, because I already sent in the paperwork. No, you guys fucked up. I got the email traffic right here that says that I asked for the paperwork and I got no response. I got the times when I called. And you know what's going to happen is no one's going to admit fault. Just like I'm not admitting fault because it wasn't my fault. They're not admitting fault. They're just, oh, yeah, we ran out of time. Okay. That's some bullshit, man. Y'all are y'all are some of the weakest people I've ever met in my life, because y'all are messing with people's careers just because you don't know what you're doing. Y'all don't know what you're doing up there. I literally did the job before. How I know that they don't know, because the dude that was up there, he tried to get smart one day. He was like, yeah, I can give you access to change it if I could change your job, to mine. Well, technically that is my secondary MOS, so you can change it. I already have it on file, motherfucker, since you want to get smart. And of course he didn't respond back, because that's what I'm saying. People get smart and then you get smarter and all of a sudden cat got your fucking tongue, right? Because again, I don't know why y'all try to do that. So basically they fucked up the paperwork. So it just so happens that there's a new memo coming out that's saying I can still extend. So people are going to ask, well, why didn't you just retire in February 24? Because I had so many leave days saved up, I would have had to eat those. Nah, I want to use all of my vacation time. And that'll make sense when we get to 2024, right? So what happens is once you put in for retirement, you have to put in all of the days of vacation you have saved up. And then we get 30 days to look for a place to stay. So basically I had about 6 months of time saved up. We're in October. So I only got November, December, January, and then it was supposed to be the end of February. 4 months. So I was going to have to sell. You have to sell your days if you can't take them. And then there's a process for retirement. You have to go through transition. You have to make appointments. You have to submit for VA. And I'm overseas, so it's a lot harder to do from overseas. So basically, y'all want me to rush my retirement because y'all fucked up. No, I'm not doing that. We're going to get it hashed out because I'm extending. I have everything that says you sent me a message in July. I responded back in August. It was like 2 weeks and said I was good. You said I was good. You sent me the paperwork. I said, this is not enough. I'm supposed to have something that tells the Army I want to extend. You didn't respond. So then y'all, oh, you didn't send in the paperwork quick enough for the Army. Like, you guys are so incompetent. And that is the problem with the Army. They're so incompetent that I was over it by that time. Right now, I'm just trying to look out for myself so I don't get rushed. Like, y'all not rushing me. I've been doing this for 23, 24 years. Y'all not rushing me. I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. And I got too much time saved up. So luckily, there was a new memo coming out because, like I said, the fiscal year started 1 October. So there's a new memo coming out, and that memo is dated 1 December. So basically, I'm in limbo from October, November, December. So I resubmitted it and said, hey, I can extend based on this new memo that came out. So they allow me to extend. So basically, I'm right as of December 2023. My retirement date is February 2026. Okay. 2026. So I'm like, all right, cool. I got all of 24 and, most of 25 and 26, I'm out. It's a good little time. I'm staying overseas, still making money. So I'm good. I don't have any reason to go back to the United States at this point because I like the job and I'm going to Bolivia. I'm going to South America. This is where I wanted to go to South America. So I called them in December once, they processed the paperwork and I got it changed on all my paperwork saying that, hey, okay, now your retirement date is moved to 2026. Okay. The 2 years went through. Hey, so I hit the people back. Hey, what's up with Bolivia? Huh? Fuck you mean, huh? What is up with Bolivia? I already talked to y'all. What you talking about? Like, y'all, you don't understand English? What's up with Bolivia? Remember y'all told me I could go? Oh, nah. What? Oh, nah, because when the paperwork went through, it got rejected, so we didn't think. Like, that's y'all's problem. Y'all was fucking thinking. I hate when people think. Oh, we thought that you didn't get approved, so we sent someone else there. So then pull them out of the slot. How I know y'all can do that is when we were in school, there were people that got their country changed. One guy was supposed to go to Uganda. He ended up going to Taiwan. So when you're in school, they tell you, it's like, hey, your country could get changed. So, just be aware of that. Like, don't be upset if it happens because you haven't qualified for anything yet. So you could probably not even make it through the course. So I'm on the other side of the fence now. So I've been doing the job. My evaluations are good, been recognized, everything. Oh, nah, we can't send you there because we sending someone else there. So then pull his ass from the slot and put me in there. Oh, we can't do that because it wouldn't be fair to him. He don't know. Like, he doesn't know if you pull him that you did it for me. I'm already in the system. All you're doing is just changing my job. Oh, well, if we send you there in March, you're only going to be there for like a year and a half before you retire. So what's wrong with that? Y'all are still getting time out of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the problem? Y'all like I'm gonna be there for 2 days before I'm out. And you don't know what other memos could come down. Like, you don't know that. So this is the next guy on the on-site list. So I was like, so what else do you got for me? Like, so I would go anywhere. Oh, nah, we ain't got nothing. That's a motherfucking lie. You just sit here and lied to my face, telling me that you have nothing available. There are 240 embassies across the world. There are people in school right now to go to those places. Why? Because they have openings. And you're not, the classes for in the school are like 30 people. So it's not like you got 100 motherfuckers in class. It's like 30 people. So you mean to tell me that every slot in the DAS system is full? Y'all don't have any spots for me. I asked them that. I was like, so you're telling me there is nothing available in the defense attaché service for me? He said no. Okay. All right. So then that's when I made the decision that I'm going to retire at the end of 2024 because I got to get the fuck out of this, because he's lying. Like, that is a bold-faced lie. He is upset. I'm not even talking to the guy I talked to before, right? So the guy I'm talking to now, who's on the on-site list in December, is different than the guy I talked to in August. It's his boss. So the guy I talked to in August, he left apparently. And there was no official communication, no nothing. So my ass is out to dry. So he's like, oh, we're talking December. Oh, you could still retire in March. March of what? In March of he said in February. You can still retire in February. February of what? 24. Are you dumb? That's literally like 60 days away. I'm not doing that. Why would I do that? I have 6 months of vacation time saved up. Why would I do that? Like, why would I retire in 60 days? That's why he's on the on-site list, and he's definitely on there. Straight up, I'm coming across his shit if I ever come across him. That's on video right now. So yeah. So at that moment, I was like, okay, there's nothing I can do. Obviously, this dude is being a little bitch, and he's thinking I'm trying to get over, or he's just holding some personal grudge against me when I don't even know who he is. I'm just trying to do what I already talked about. Like, you acting like I didn't talk about this in August. Like, I know I did. You don't know. And you're taking the shit personally. I don't know why. To tell me that there's no openings, it's a damn lie. All we heard when we were in school, which was like a year and a half ago. Well, that's probably 2 years at this point. No, probably the 2 years at this point. Is that how they have openings? How they can't get anybody? How they have a shortage of people? And oh, by the way, I was working in a job where I was the only one, and it's supposed to be 3 of us. And I was like that for what, 10 months? But now everything's full. So I talked to the people in Bolivia, and I was like, I'm not coming there again. He was like, yeah, I kind of figured that because they had somebody else's name on the roster to come. I was like, you motherfuckers. And he's still in school. So he could not even make it. So I was just pissed off at that point. And I was just like, you know what? This is a sign. This is a sign saying that it's time for me to move on. I believe in signs. And sometimes you can overstay your welcome. And this was a sign of me overstaying my welcome. So I said, you know what? I'm going to give myself ample time to retire. And I want to do it at the end of the year. So everybody parties on my retirement date. And it's going to be 31 December, 2024. And so I ended up putting in my paperwork in January of 24. So that is how I extended for 2 years, but still ended up getting out the next year because of incompetence with paperwork. And it's so sad that people, and not just me, that people's career, because I know I'm not the only person this has ever happened to, but people's career hang in the balance based on some dumbass person doing one form. based on one person not knowing, based on one person's competence or incompetence. And I just hate the thought of that. I hate that. So that's one of the reasons, aside from me wanting to be a film director and wanting to do content creation for a number of years, I don't want to get another job because there's too much riding on one person's shoulders. Somebody doesn't turn a fucking form in. Somebody doesn't know something is needed. Somebody doesn't do this. Somebody doesn't do that. And then outside of that, they don't take accountability. So it's like the double whammy. You don't do your fucking job, and now you don't take accountability for not doing your fucking job. I can't take that. I just can't take that. And so to me, this was a sign. And like I told everybody, like my mom and my brother, my dad, I said, I was trying to be greedy and make more money. And it came back to bite me in the ass. Was it like detrimental to me? No, of course not. But for someone who was a planner, and again, I had all my ducks in a row before I made the decision, and for it to still not go according to plan is a lot to swallow. It's hard to handle because I said that in August. I need the other form. I need something that tells the army I'm extending. And y'all just don't respond. But you respond when you want something. So from that day forward, it was just fuck everything, man. Like fuck everything. I don't care. I'm retiring 31 December. I don't care if Napoleon wants to be king of the world in the office. I don't care about none of that shit. Don't bother me. Don't fuck with me. I'm not taking over nothing. I'm retiring because I was supposed to retire in 24. It was supposed to be a leap year. 2024 was a leap year, and February 29th, which would have been really cool. And I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna get more money, pocket more bread. And then they said, nah. Nah. No. We don't have anything for you. I mean, I can tell y'all that was a lie, but you don't know how blatant of a lie that was. And for me to repeat it and for him to double down on the lie, it's even worse, right? You know when a motherfucker is just like, that is completely false. That's a lie. You know that that's a lie, but you're trying to feed it to me? Okay. That's like the utmost like lack of respect. And that's the way I took it. That was a total lack of, I don't give a fuck about you. I just don't want to deal with you. Bet you won't have to ever again. But when I see you, it's on. It's on because that energy that you have is not real. I know it's not real. And I'm going to put it to the test when I see you. Again, I'm not going to look for nobody. But if I come across you and I'm like, oh, you the such and such, and we talked to, yeah. So that's 3 people on the on-site list. 3. And I'm dead serious when I say that. It's on site. So that's 2023. That's 2023. Thank y'all for watching this episode of the Quarter Century Soldier. Next time we get into 2024, the penultimate episode, 2024. And I will see y'all in the next one.